Okay, Assalamualaikum semua. Mencari timba si anak dara di bawah pohon sarung tempur. Salam sembah pembuka bicara, selamat datang untuk semua. Selamat datang ke siri webinar LIBATSAMA Universiti Komuniti. Siri ini merupakan siri yang pertama, jadi insyaAllah siri ini akan berlangsung selama sebanyak 9 siri. Sebelum kita memulakan majlis pada hari ini, saya sedikit sebanyak ingin berkongsikanlah sedikit berkenaan dengan Dr. Zul. Dr. Zulkifli Mustafa merupakan pensyarah di Jabatan Neuroscience Universiti Sains Malaysia. Beliau merupakan Doktor Perubatan Veterina. Beliau mendapat ijazah Doktor Falsafah PhD dalam bidang Neuroscience USM. Beliau juga merupakan pereka inovasi Mustafa Hive, Hilda Mailos Syams dalam peternakan kelulut, dan beliau juga merupakan konsultan industri lebah kelulut lestari. Dalam industri pula, beliau merupakan Presiden Persatuan Usahawan Lebah Kelulut Darul Naim, TRUNES, pengasas Honey Gold Laboratory, Ketua Projek Madu Kelulut Scale Up Project bagi dana pembangunan usahawan Bumi Putra di PUB Sarawak 2019 yang dibiayai oleh Traju, dan merupakan Ketua Penyelidik Projek Advanced National Honey Landmark An-Nahal. Pengiktirafan pula, beliau mendapat anugerah inovasi pertanian dan industri asas tani peringkat kebangsaan tahun 2015, pingat emas Malaysia Agriculture Invention Show 2015, anugerah industri asas tani negeri Kelantan 2015, anugerah ikon usahawan negeri Kelantan 2017, anugerah kepimpinan masyarakat Sanggar Sanjung 2018, anugerah inovasi asas tani kebangsaan 2020. Jadi kalau kita tengok dia punya anugerah banyak kepada LIBATSAMA dengan komuniti. Jadi okey, untuk tidak memanjangkan lagi, saya serahkan kepada Dr. Zul untuk berkongsilah dia punya pengalaman. Okey, Dr. Zul dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Insya-Allah saya sedia mengucapkan lisan terima kasih Hamzah panjang lebar penerangan. Saya percaya ramai sahabat-sahabat profesor-profesor di alam maya, Tuan Said dan juga sahabat-sahabat penyelidik dan mungkin juga setengah daripada adalah sahabat penternak. Jadi terima kasih dapat bersiaran bersama saya hari ini. Jadi terima kasih juga kepada pihak BIKIM kerana mengendalikan anda menganjurkan program ini. Jadi masa diberi selama 3 jam dan saya tak rasa saya akan cakap selama itu. Saya akan cuba gunakan maksimum 1 jam dan lepas tu kita akan ada soal jawab. Okay, so this session will be a kind of sharing my best practice lah. And then this is not only impact of my project or particular kelulut project, but more important to see is the strategy how we create opportunity via this community engagement project. So before this, we listen to a lot of bombastic words in university. A lot of researcher won several ITEX award, but at the same time, on the opposite, people still questioning is it university is still relevant or not. I know how universities should evolve to equip with the current trends or requirement of the society development. Right. So in this presentation, so I will share my path to secure almost 4 million grants in within 2 years, and also to share a model that I used to drive my movement. All right. So basically, I graduated my first degree as a veterinarian, and then later I pursued my PhD in oncolytic virus and use a virus to treat a brain tumor. And now I'm focusing on the research in kelulut honey to see the effect of the honey on the memory and learning, aging, and brain tumor and stroke. But I also focusing on the research to improve supply chain of premium honey in Malaysia. And at the same time, I also working on the bee cognition to study the memory mechanism using the bee model. Of course, it's a big challenge for us to understand how our brain works from one single cell connecting to another cell to create a big system that where this system could receive information and reflect for it. So it's a complicated system. If we look at the comparison of several brains there, we human more than 16 billion brain. So it's a very difficult for us to evaluate the mechanism. So scientists come with a simpler method. We use a bees as a model where this bee brain only limited to 1 million cell. But yet the bee also reported, in the Quran that they receive wahyu, and then they also have a memory, they also have a spatial memory and able to do tasks. So as a veterinarian, I want to reduce the utilization of animals where their cost increasing nowadays, and that by using insect to simplify the research. Goals for today, I want to share on a few things. First part will be why we need to do community engagement project, and number two, I will discuss about 6 steps to achieve impactful community engagement project, and finally I will talk on the implementing a research in community engagement project. So will be 3 parts of research. All right. So to begin with, why community engagement or CE is important for academia. First, we always said that we want our graduate to be a job creator. So looking at the statistic in Malaysia, 21 public sector university and 38 private sector university produce approximately 50,000 graduates a year, but nearly 60% of them remain unemployed after 1 year graduation. And then now 5,000 postgraduate students are seeking for doctoral program each year. So this set a trend that will bring the total of PhD holders in the country about 60,000 by 2023. So the issue now is, the question now is, does our training make them want the job creator that we want? So if we could see, people keep saying that many university lecturers now not relevant to the society or unable to show how to be good to society or how to create opportunity to the society, and yet we are talking about making a students relevant to the industry. So this is one of the justification that we really need the community engagement project. So another foundation fact that we need to see here is where we are in the experimental development. So we are very strong or too much at the basic research and applied research. If we can see Malaysia in the red dot box that I highlight there. So we are about how many percent? Almost 20% in the basic research and 57% in the applied research. And then we are only less than 15% in the pre-commercialization. Whereas if we compare to China, just 2 bar above, China less than 15% on the basic research. The rest is on the pre-commercialization. So that is why this will answer us why China is very strong in producing a new technology. So dengan kesedaran ini, now we want to move from basic or applied research into pre-com. But what who we expect to deliver this? Surely we as a scientist or as a lecturer, because we are the one who know the technology. We are the one who own the technology, develop, and then of course no one know better than us for our particular topic. But the issue is among us, we ask, habis tu macam mana nak ke pre-com, So how to jump into the pre-com? Right, so this is another important that I actually use a community engagement as a path to go to the pre-commercialization. But if we ask and we want to understand why current researcher or scientists unable to go to community or industry, as academic, our responsible as a generator of knowledge, and then we disseminate knowledge, and then we also do the translation of knowledge to industry and community. So now we have invested a lot in research, and we publish a good paper and etc. We produce a student, but why we always fail to reach to industry and community? Because most of us actually tired here. We are too much in this KPI work until we fail in the translation. We actually confined in this what we call red box here, so that we really excellent in our KPI. but yet nothing changed to our people. We are able to reach to the community, and people can didn't get the impact of our present. So understanding to this, when we start with difficult to reach to the society, I changed the game. So I changed my game where I created my own academic model. I call a Zulkifli academic model, or simplified as Zulkifli model. So instead of moving from academia to community or industry, I created a shared vision model. Means we put one height, one aim, where I move to this aim. But along the way, I bring along the society and the community of target to the aim. So means we grow together with the society. So we grow, and immediately community or industry get the benefit. So when we grow together, we can be both on to achieve a KPI as a lecturer. So I can do my fundamental research and everything, and then I can get grants from KPT, like FRGS or whatever grant. At the same time, I can actually go to the humanity and um, work on the to achieve the KIP, key intangible performance, right? So that major advantage when I walk or move into the industrial community platform, a lot more grant available with less application like PPRN, KTP, MRAN grant, because if we look at the FRGS, for example, I think more than 5,000 applications to compete. But on the other side of not many people actually apply. Of course, and another advantage is actually kita kurang bergaduh tentang who expert in this, who expert in that, because we share the vision. So it's not about my personal growth, it's about everybody growth. So tak ada timbul isu, this is bidang siapa, this is bidang siapa. I remember when grant application open, then people applying grant included didn't put my name, and then many people didn't agree because they said, okay, if Dr. Zul expert in this, Dr. Zul need to be in the group. But I said no, because it's not about me, it's about the industry, because it's about the vision of uphold the industry. So more people involved, higher chance of this to become industry, right? So understanding to this in a Kululuk area, for example, in the stingless bee, in producing honey. So it's actually I properly designed my path to bring this Kululuk honey to become a new commodity for the country. Initially, this Kululuk is just backyard activity. You can do it just belakang rumah sahaja. Of course, because of it is from belakang rumah. So we need a lot of innovation to improve the Kululuk honey quality, and also the yield, and also the supply chain. So since I knew about the limitation in the stingless bee keeping, then I focusing on the innovation to solve all these issues. So Alhamdulillah, I managed to secure community grant almost, not almost, it's every year. I can secure a grant to come up with a new innovation every year, because I have a clear vision. Where am I heading? What is the problem that I need to solve? Right? So kemuncaknya in December 2020, 7 months ago, University USM awarded me with a spark grant to start my own spin-off company to commercialize the whole innovation that I produce during my community engagement project. Okay, so and then from the community project also, I managed to secure a collaboration with the industrial partner, Corak Rentak Sdn Bhd. So we form a Honeygood Enterprise Sdn Bhd. Then under this, we develop our first GMP certified factory that certified with the GMP, HACCP, Halal, ISO 20000, and NIST. I think this is the first in the world for Kululuk honey. So this is the thing that from the backyard activity, we reach to the level of industry that are now moving into the export market. Right. So in summary, this community engagement project actually is a platform for us to test the applicability and the impact of our laboratory research in the real world. And then it is also to create a platform for our students for the real involvement in the society and being relevant to industry. And then the third is to create tribe as a user for our new invention or innovation and target group for our grant or project expansion. I give you an example here, like when in 2013, I invent the hive, the house for bees. That particular time, not many beekeepers are available. So who going to buy my invention? Therefore, we need to create our tribe, our quack, or our beekeeper, so that there is a user to the technology. So means the community engagement project is the platform to create a user to our technology. Sometimes our technology is too advanced, no one involved yet. So the CE is the one that we could use as a platform. And number four is, of course, this is a step. The community engagement is a step towards the business enterprise at the spin-off or startup. But of course, not limited to this. The sad truth that we experience nowadays, we can see many people actually proudly explain that they publish 5 papers, 7 papers per year. But when they go to the society, some other online or a face-to-face or whatever workshop, they only teach how to cook, how to make a masakan, or maybe just how to teach a Photoshop. So this is the thing. What is how we actually want to translate these 7 papers per year into the society? This is something that we to ponder. All right. So let's move to the part 2, which this second part will be a 6-step to impactful community engagement project. Many people actually want to do community engagement, but don't really know how to start the community engagement. So here is, I share my experience, and let's go one by one. Okay. Number one, this step 1, the most important is we have to define our life goal. So I remember I had a lunch with Dato' Idris Yusof, mantan Minister of KPT. So he did ask me one question, Dr. Zul, can you define Malaysia? So I just senyap sekejap and berfikir, then slowly answer, possibly biodiversity or multiracial, dan termenung sekejap. I think maybe Raja Perlembagaan. My answer, not pretty sure. And then he said, no, Zul, we are not sure because we never define. Okay, so let's work together to define better Malaysia. That particular moment actually teach me exactly. I start to understand that we need to define actually what our target is. Okay, so we really need to know our goal. People like Dr. Mahathir or Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these big people, that people look at them as a brilliant because they are visionary. They have a particular vision. So when they put one vision, people can go there. So now if we don't have a specific goal, we really don't know where to go, it is very difficult to achieve success in whatever we do. So as for me, I remember during my PhD time, my late father diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So as a PhD student in cancer, I really understand how most of the chemotherapy works molecularly. And then I could say that particular time, not much we can do. So I looked into Quran and then found out that Allah said clearly in the Quran that honey is a remedy. So I get semangat nak cari madu as a penawar for my dad. But surprisingly, that we can see when I go to the market, we can see the honey is just on the floor at night market di tepi longkang saja. So you can see this 2 darjat berbeza. Satu Allah letak pada kedudukan tinggi dalam Al-Quran, satu lagi kita letak kat lantai. Why this has happened? So this is the thing that I said, oh, okay, this is the real moment in my life that I know what I want to do. And then I said, Allah help me, I want to uphold this honey industry. So when I explore further, the quality is not the only problem. So we have a problem of dying bees, our honey fermented, berbuih, masam, and then we have a limited volume of honey. But we have a lot of research. On medical research, we have more than 100 publications on the effect of honey. But we have a limited supply. Means actually, in order to uphold this, we really need a total solution for this honey industry. After a PhD, I started to uphold the honey industry via the sustainable method. So if I tell people that I work on the bee because of to uphold the stingless bee to uphold the honey industry because to membenarkan ayat Allah bahawa surah An-Nahl ayat 68 dan 9 bahawa madu adalah penawar. It sounds rhetoric sometimes to some people, right? So I need a clear justification. So when I dive further, we start to realize that the bee is a very amazing creatures. For example, when the role of bee in pollination. So when one bee come out from their hive or their nest, they go to environment foraging to collect nectar. So they move from one flower to another flower to another flower. It's not only collecting nectar, but they also help in pollination. So from that pollination, produce a fruit that we can eat. All right. So if we did it, that fruit fall on the ground, become a seed to grow new tree, where this tree give us oxygen, filter our air, give us shade, become our home to our biodiversity. And we can use the wood, we can, the root holding the soil not to erosion, become a water catchment area with the root pollination of the bees. And the bees go back to their nest, make a nectar, make a honey as a remedy to human being. So this bee is very amazing. Now, when we know how to domesticate the bee, so we put the bees at our backyard, we can harvest honey, we can generate income, especially during this MCO, during this lockdown. Some many beekeepers actually just go at their backyard, harvest honey, sell it online. So can help community generate income. And then more research coming nowadays to identify that keluluk honey is one of the best honey in the world, melebihi daripada kebanyakan jenama madu lain. Okay, jenis-jenis madu lain. So now madu keluluk going to be a new Malaysian community as a superfood. So, but the bee population now really affected by the pesticide, urbanization. So now we are working hard to support beekeepers to generate income from the bees so that they will protect and do the conservation to the bees, right? So that's, I give you example of my goal. So I put it as a servant of Allah, I put my goal to uphold honey to prove the Surah An-Nahl verses 68, 69 as a correct verse. And then, but my personal goal may be applicable to me. So people might have a different verse to fight for in their life. So I designed a vision that can be a national interest, which is to uphold honey as a remedy and a new community for the country. We have two different things here between goal and vision. Goal maybe is limited to a timeline, time frame. You play football 90 minutes, there is no more goal. Same like me, same like us. We can set a goal, but when we reach to batas waktu, batas usia, iaitu ajal, then no more our goal. But if the vision, people can still continue our vision. Right. So let's move to step number 2. We need, once we have a goal, number 2, we need to map our circles. We can see the circle that we have now, grant number 1, grant number 2, or our PhD or subject that we teach, the pattern that we have, or collaboration that we have. You know, if everything parallel to the goal, it's okay. So it means we are on the right track. But if it's just scattered away, so we are not really focused actually. We can see example here. If your goal with your current ground research, publication, collaboration, and other parallel to your goal, this is the ideal. Means you have a clear focus and then you have strong track record. But if you don't have a goal, means it is a bit difficult because we cannot see your soul, where you are hitting actually. So you also don't know what you want, and then whatever you do, scattered away. So if you yourself don't know where you are hitting, how you still would know? I remember when I met Datuk Rahman, KNC, he's helping me a lot. And then he said, Zul, when people say your name, and then other people immediately recognize, oh, Zulkifli, then you are on the right track. So now, if we are unable to put one area that people recognize us, we are, a bit difficult. So, okay, let's try one. So you may draw a one line and you put what is your goal actually, and then you can put a circle. Where is actually your grant? Where is your collaboration? Where is your special skill? Where is your PhD? Is it on the right track? Or you need to find the arrow that can actually support you from whatever you have in hand now. So from there you can see actually where is your circle, right? And then third, after you have the goal, you have your circles. Now you will need to develop your tools, or it can be modules or innovation. These tools actually something that connects you to your tribe. When I saw the low quality honey, so I wrote a book on to do good honey harvesting and good post harvest handling. So I bring that book, I go to Beijing, bahagian jaringan industri dan masyarakat, and I say, I have this book, a module to help beekeepers to improve the quality. From that, the honey price will increase and give better income to the beekeepers. So Beijing will recognize that, oh, okay, you have the innovation to share with the community. So they're able to find us grant of money that could support us. So it can be in the form of book, it can be a form of video, kits, or application, or in innovation, right? So this, because the CE, community engagement, is different from the charity works or community outreach program, because community engagement usually involve innovation, right? You have something that you want to give to the society, to the community, where you can assess the effect before you give the innovation, then you can assess after you give the innovation. So it involves some period of time of observation, involve introduction of new technology, involve engagement. That is community engagement. If you talk about, okay, let's go cat surau, cat bus station, bus stop. So itu bukan community engagement project. Ia sekadar community outreach or maybe a charity works only, right? Then somebody asks, if I'm a nurse, so apa inovasi yang saya buat? Saya adalah nurse. Jadi inovasi apa yang kita buat? So you can still produce a module that can help people do the home care, how to handle their handicapped family, or how to do what we call home massage or something that benefit upskill the community. So it's not necessary to come out with the breakthrough innovation, a big innovation. No, sometimes very simple, but you give a new knowledge that enhance the community. So as for me, I'm lucky enough, the book that I wrote is very simple. So Menteri Besar Kelantan read that book and bring that book to Prime Minister, where you can see in their hand discussing about the culinary industry using our book. So this is a proud moment, one of the proud moments in my life, right? Okay. So so it could be in the form of training, a video. So you can have a video how to do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 1 that you want to introduce. So as for the curriculum, inshallah later I will put in my website www.brainy.my. Anyone can access for free. Just register your name, then you can attend. I make a video for 5 minutes or 6 minutes per episode. So everyone can just learn how to do a beekeeping for free. Just need to register. All right. Step number 4, then we need to develop our tribe atau puak kita. I don't like to use the word follower sebab rasa macam celebrity kan. But they actually our tribe. So this is in the picture example of the tribe creating process in the Kelulu project. So I since 2013 I trained more than 3,000 beekeepers in Malaysia, where most of them come to my center in Tumpat, Kelantan. So the purpose of this tribe actually to become a real group that benefit from our invention. So now we have a lot of things in the lab. We know what we want, our research. We are good in our research. But sometimes we always forgot who will benefit from this. People are doing a cell culture. They say, I'm working on cell tulang. But how come I want to go to community? Of course, you have to see ultimate goal of your project. Why you study the tulang and the bone, the osteoclast, for example. Surely because you want to improve the posture or the movement of particular person. So it means that your area actually in the working on the posture. So you can work on your molecular in the osteoclast, but surely you have to see in a bigger view on the posture. So that's the thing. You know exactly where you are heading, knowledge from the lab to those who will benefit from this. And then, of course, to create a user to your technology, as I said, when I create a hive, a beehive for stingless bee, but there are no beekeepers. So who's going to buy my technology? Means I have to create a beekeepers so that they can buy. But it's not only for me, they also benefit. So this is how we grow together. All right. And also as a target for your community grant application, you cannot simply, I will apply this grant because I want to handle the whole Malaysia. In proposal, you will put on particular group. So if you create your tribe, so you have the target that you want to do your community engagement project, and of course, as your supporters, that these supporters will help you to gain visibility and also influence to the top management. For example, initially, if we talk about Kelulu project, two people cannot bring. What you want to do with the project belakang rumah ni, project tepi rumah ni, project orang kampung ni, how far you can go. But so people will listen to us as a researcher. But bila orang kampung yang bercakap bahawa mereka boleh menjana pendapatan, mereka mendapat kebaikan itu, kebaikan ini, so they will speak for us. And then from there, university can see the justification that, oh, okay, this particular scientist has a demand for the area. So you can create your tribe sama ada melalui FB, you can create your FB page ke, you can have through WhatsApp group ke, you can have a lot zaman kalau sebelum media sosial, you can have workshop, or you can join local society, you can form your own society. Means you create those who will benefit to you. So you yourself know those who have interest to your particular topic. And step number 5, you need to shape your group culture. So culture is a set of living relationship working towards a shared goal. Means you have a particular culture for your research group. You become inspire your team member. Sometimes you have several PhD or master, but they are not inspired by your strive or apa yang you perjuangkan. So this is the thing. It's very difficult for you to handle the big team. But when everybody share the same vision, so you didn't actually control your group. They move together along that vision. So you have to put a culture like to promote your group instead of promoting yourself. So it means everybody learn from the beginning, your students and your postgraduate, your postdoc, and then another researcher talk about the team. So from the beginning, we start to learn to grow together. It's not about Dr. Zul or Dr. Zul. No, it's about the whole team to grow together. And then, of course, another culture that you can practice, like encourage a student to read a journal and simplify this journal into the layman term so that they learn how to speak to people. Of course, a lot more culture that I think everybody can think about it, but we need a particular culture for our group. Like us in this picture, we try to put element having, journal club dekat Starbucks, sama-sama minum. We talk how to deliver things in a simple way. Step number 6, it's be friend with big team office. Or if you are in the private sector now, maybe some of you from a company or from the beekeepers not in university, be friend with Jabatan Pertanian ke, dengan government agency, because they exist to support you. Right, so BGM is not only secretariat that manage a community grant, but they actually a database for several research university. So when you design a particular project, when you go to make any particular project, they actually can assist you to improve the proposal or and introduce whatever technology can enhance your project. So taken together, all of this, I share with you how I use this as academic model, me as academia. So I have my vision to my goal to uphold the Surah An-Nahl verse 69 that Allah said, "Madu is remedy." So that one will be my strive in my life. To bring people together, I also put my vision to bring the honey as a remedy and a new commodity. So as a researcher, I still doing my fundamental work in a research on the depression and also bee brain anatomy. And then I also achieved my KPI in terms of producing student, producing a journal, patents, books, and then applying the grant. But when I go to the community aspect, I can see a lot more opportunity. So I could apply more grant in the community where if you can see my grant mostly on this side. It's not from this side. But and then this is really make my life happy here, because you see, I give you an example in a beekeeping activity. When the beekeeper have the bee at their house, usually they are not that rich, they're just villagers, they're considered poor people. So never buy any supplement to their kids. But when they have a bee colony at their house, they can harvest the honey and give to their kids. And then when they want to have more honey, they want more nectar, they plant more flowers so the house becomes beautiful. So when their house, that we have to pollinate all the fruits plant around their house compound and their neighbors, so increase yield, increase the coconut production, increase in rambutans, increase all the fruits production. And then this kind of thing, something is unmeasurable, but we know giving intangible impact to the society, right? So now with the big activity, people when they have a honey, they have to learn how to sell their honey. So they become entrepreneur. So and then they know the bee give benefit to them. They start to love bee and learn how to the conservation to the bee. So this spillover impact really gives us a kind of happiness. And then using this, you can see the bridge that connect me with the community is the lifelong learning bridge. So I always value to learn, unlearn, relearn, and co-learn with the society, with the community, because community also clever. They have their own research that actually expedite whatever we do in lab. So we learn from them, and then whatever we have not practical, we unlearn and relearn with the community. So this is how that we use this academic model. All right. So let's go to part 3 on the implementation of research in community engagement. So the key secret here that usually people give us a grant because of our innovation, right? So means grants usually give to us to buy or to materialize our idea or our invention to be implemented at the community level. So if you make a community project every year, means you have opportunity to upgrade your invention every year. So we can keep upgrade to a new version of our invention. I give you one example here. In the honey industry, we have a lot of problems. As I said just now, we need a total solution. We have problem of honey colony supply. We have a problem of souring honey. We have a problem of traditional honey harvesting, and then post-harvest management, and problem, from the tualang honey before this. The way they handle honey is not that hygienic. So this make a kind of variables to our quality. So our honey become a third class product, whereas our diversity is one of the richest in the world. So because of this, people just neglect it. So second, but if we look closely, there is actually one major problem. There is a fermentation process in the honey, right? So our climate in Tropica have high humidity above 60%. Di mana wap air dalam udara ni akan menyebabkan madu jadi cair atau madu tu lambat kering. And then dalam madu tu ada yeast. So bila ada cahaya, ada air dan ada gula daripada madu itu, so the yeast akan menjalankan penapaian dan akan membebaskan gas yang menyebabkan madu kita tu berbuih. So kalau tekanan tinggi, botol tu boleh pecah. Jadi fermentation, penapaian ini juga menyebabkan asid dihasilkan, madu kita jadi masak. Jadi berbeza dengan negara luar, dia punya humidity is very low. So the honey sangat lekat and less fermentation. So they are very sweet, right? So madu dia stable di dalam botol. Jadi madu mereka manis dan juga stabil dan boleh masuk ke pasar raya. Tapi macam madu kita ni, bila madu kita berbuih, macam mana kita nak masuk dalam botol yang proper? Right. So tekanan dalam botol itu menyebabkan madu tu pecah dan melimpah. Jadi madu dekat Malaysia ni, orang just letak plastik, ikat getah so that gas still boleh keluar. Jadi tak boleh nak masuk dalam pasar raya. Yang memenuhi pasar raya dan farmasi ini adalah madu-madu daripada luar negara. Sedangkan kita dah tahu biodiversity kita adalah yang terkaya di dunia. Right? Jadi menyedari masalah ini, saya buat sistem yang kita kata digunakan untuk mengurangkan air dalam madu tanpa penamasan. So 2016 masa saya cuba tu, it's just a first prototype using a small grant from KTP, Knowledge Transfer Program grant. So bila saya nampak boleh improve, saya start collect data. So whatever saya buat untuk community, saya collect data of how to improve the system. Jadi from the first prototype, so saya apply PPRN in 2017. So I upgrade the system. And 2018, I apply for NCIA grant. So we upgrade to another version of the HILDA system, where we objectively want to reduce the moisture content without heating element. And later under the transnational grant, so I upgrade the system, and then now the latest in 2020, I almost complete to become a complete system, right? So now the system now from the community project, okay, we upgrade. So alhamdulillah, in 2020, I finally received National Innovation Award for Agriculture Technology for the invention of that system. And in fact, the system attract the Japanese documentary to do how we improve this quality of the honey, right? So now that kind of innovation improve the shelf life of and a product presentation. So yani, we can see now we can sell our product online or maybe in pasar raya because the honey are now stable, right? So I have one example here. So for this, we look at this kind of product, right? This kind of product is an international honey product, but now because we improve the way we produce the honey, now we have a better packaging and better beautiful product. The clear evidence that product OC. But now we have it Malaysia now. We cannot get it from pharmacy or online because the honey now stable. Furthermore, I'm working with the Beijing now. We try to develop KOHC, Community Honey Center, about 15 center already, all Malaysia, insyaAllah, in next few months. And all this center akan beroperasi macam kilang padi. You can send padi to, remove the husk semua. And then yang ni boleh, peternak boleh hantar ke kilang-kilang yang kita akan provide. So, but not only improvement on the machine, not only improvement to our system, but a lot more data we can conduct from our CE. So we can get the economic impact of our works before and after. We also can see the demographic data or whatever data available in our target population. So that the one that we can convert into publication. So I think from this simpler thing, you can just expand it, right? So take home message here. Number one, make sure map our circle. Now we want to see where we are heading, where we are now, and then from that we can with that clear goal. So we start to develop what is the tools to go to community engagement, and so that we could engage with the group and then identify who is our tribe. So if you are ambitious enough in future, August, I think, Hamzah, bulan 8, we will have another talk of me. I will share you on the Zulkifli canvas, where this canvas to make your particular project to become a national impact project. I give you an example here. Like my new idea, in the red box, I want to have a new COE, for example. So in the purple box at the center is my current ecosystem. So who's the stakeholder that will benefit from this whatever system that I have, and then what is the national output that I aim for, and what is the national impact that I look for, and then from the project also what university could get from this project, on the output and impact in the academy, on the student and community, and also on commercialization. So this is the Zulkifli canvas that you possibly use. So before I end, as for me, engagement is useful for the research and our career growth. And then, of course, instead of looking at community engagement as the spirit of giving back, we actually grow together with a community. Alhamdulillah, from all this journey really gave me a purpose in life, and then I achieve a combination of a passion and a career growth, and then recognition and awards. But the keywords here is serve to people. Of course, student is all people, but it's just a kind of a group that we commonly practice. But most important is to identify the society that we benefit. So before I end my presentation, I would like to share this dan carilah apa yang telah dianugerah Allah kepada kamu, kebahagiaan di negeri akhirat. Janganlah kamu lupakan bahagian dari kenikmatan dunia ini, dan berbuat baiklah pada orang lain sebagaimana Allah telah berbuat pada kamu, dan janganlah kamu berbuat kerosakan di muka bumi. Sebenarnya Allah tidak menyukai orang-orang yang berbuat kerosakan. I end my presentation. I would like to thank all my groups. So the image there is the stamp that acknowledge my project. Thank you. And over to you, Hamzah.
Okay, terima kasih Dr. Zul. Jadi kita ada beberapa soalan daripada kita punya viewers. Jadi saya rasa mungkin saya boleh saya letak ni kot. Saya share dia punya soalan. Nanti ada beberapa soalan lah. Sambil-sambil tu kalau ada soalan lagi daripada penonton kita mungkin boleh ni lah. Mesti boleh bertanya lah.
Saya sekadar orang kata nak berkongsi atau nak ucapkan terima kasih kerana your presentation ni give me an idea about how BGIM community engagement ini orang kata macam mana dia proses dan bagaimana dia memberi ruang dan peluang kepada researcher and community untuk orang kata sukses lah. And then sementara kita nak tunggu tu, saya rasa saya nak berkongsi satu pengalaman. Bagi saya baru, saya sangat baru, dan bila saya dengar tadi saya rasa macam oh my god, this is something orang kata membuka minda saya lah, because saya dari social science. Jadi kami baru apply BJIM baru ni. Jadi adalah my friend, dia cakap dia tak nak apply, dah 4 kali apply fail. So tak apalah, jadi kita orang ni just try lah. Kita try dalam 3 projek lah. Jadi 2 dapat, 1 tak dapat. Yang tak dapat tu saya lah. Tapi bila saya lihat tu baru saya faham. Saya faham kenapalah bila I tengok your presentation. Dan untuk saya dalam bidang social science ni, untuk nak hasilkan sesuatu tu memang agak susah lah. Definitely we need to ada orang kata ada team yang ada elemen teknikal dan sebagainya, because kita nak engage dengan community. Jadi dalam hal ini your presentation itu nampaklah, saya boleh nampak di mana saya boleh masuk lah, walaupun dari segi orang kata teknikalnya tu taklah ada. Misalnya saya dalam bidang pengajian orang asli kan, dan bagaimana nak develop dia orang dalam konteks nak produce something atau nak propose something yang macam you buat tu, rasa macam ilmu tu tak ada lah. Tapi bila ada rakan yang ada elemen itu dan kita kata bekerjasama, baru saya nampak. Dan for that saya ucapkan terima kasih lah, kerana saya boleh melihat bagaimana ianya kata boleh dilaksanakan. Dan hari tu bila soalan yang ditanya bagaimana nak maintain selepas kita kita dah buat apa yang kita propose, and then nak maintain itu another bila you give an idea, saya boleh lihat oh yes, I can see that, and then I understand apa yang soalan yang ditanya oleh panel hari itulah. Because sebelum ni rasa apa benda dia tanya ni, pelik-pelik, projek belum buat dia tanya pelik-pelik kan. Jadi rasa macam okay. So for that, thank you very much lah.
Alright. Okay, thank you, Dr. I want to share that sebelum pada saya naik keluluk dekat USM ni, sebab saya duduk dekat medical school, Jabatan Neuroscience, so everybody busy with the brain surgery, and then orang lain pun sibuk dengan surgery. Out of saya, kita nak cakap pasal keluluk, tak ada orang layan saya actually. So, but I changed my game. I joined Humanity and also Social Science Conference dekat Turki, and then kat situ saya jumpa dengan Prof. Salasiah dengan also Prof. Prof. Nadia Dr. Nurizan. Jadi dia tengok presentation saya dan dia know how to use it and then bring it, and dia buat naik saya dekat kampus utama. So actually we need to change that's why I like to just join alien conference, right? So sometimes we are too much on our we are medical school, so we go to biotech or medical conference. So whereas when you have a community project that you want to highlight, so I change, I go to the humanity conference. Then people start recognize you and then know how to appreciate what you have. Right?
Sangat betul Dr. Zul, sangat betul. Dan from my point of view, saya rasa di sinilah titik temu di antara bidang teknikal ke sains ke medical ke dengan social science, yang mana kita saling memerlukan. Dan bila mana kita hidup dalam dunia kita, maka jadilah kita seperti itu. Dan now when we see this BJIM punya idea, I can see how great is the future for us and for the society. That's my inilah my pandangan lah. I rasa I can see that lah, which is very very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr.
Itu Zul, ada soalan dia. Soalan pertama daripada ni.
In 2012, I start to focus to have a bigger farm, right? Did you receive any help with the video production or the production? Oh, all right. Okay, regarding the video production rating, in my case, I think I'm lucky enough. All of a sudden, another group of researchers receive a grant, international grant, but they want something, a project that benefit to local society. So they identify me as a resource person that have a direct skill to applicable to local society. So they, using the grant, helped me to produce a video. But nowadays, I do believe that a lot of apps in your or our phone available to simply edit any video. It's with a very good quality. I think it's just a matter that we just make one activity and record it and then combine in our local app. And so
Kalau ada nak tanya secara lisan boleh mencelah ya untuk semua. Tidak tahu
boleh?
diteruskan.
Yes. All right. So what is the plan to translate the system machine you develop using KTP to the community?
Dr. Zul,
Yes.
you haven't answered the second question. How did you manage the video production and the project itself? Can we go to that first?
All right. How we? Sorry, Prof. Again, how?
So the second one though, how did you
The
manage?
second one. Okay. Okay. How did you manage the video production and the project? Okay. Me as a resource person, I outline the content. So first is to outline the content. What necessary content for the first episode, second episode, third episode, like writing a book. So we want what we want to highlight. Okay, so introduction to our the particular skill or area that we want to introduce. Second, the benefit to people and to the country. And the third one, skill. Everything must be simplified in layman terms, not that complicated. And then usually people tackle with how to do. How to do. That's why cooking activity online easily get engagement because people learn how to do it in simpler way. So the moment we have this content, in my case, as I said, people approach me. But if not, either we can get students to do it or we can contact our university. They have the expertise to make a video for us. Maybe they can collaborate with Beijing to get from seed money 5,000-10,000 to make a video if you have something that you want to give. So maybe we have Dr. Zul here working on the OKU. Dr. Zul, apa kat sini?
Ya, ada. Ada.
So mungkin boleh share sikit experience on the community, how to start actually, ramai yang nak tahu how to actually bermula ni.
I think the concept is a bit different. I mean, basically dia sama, cumanya sebab target dia punya tu agak berbeza. Tapi apa yang saya dapat hari ni, saya banyak belajar daripada Dr. Zul. Terima kasih banyak. And I was actually about to send you a message that to set a meeting that to see how my project to discuss in the bigger picture, how to use your model in order to bring forward the disability, right? So that is the thank you very much for that inspiring message. But in terms of the needs, sebenarnya bila saya tengok tadi Dr. Zul punya presentation is from the needs of how to bring forward the Madi Kludut come forward. Then in my instance, I need to bring up how to empower people with disability and change and transform the future of people with disability. So basically the fundamentals is a bit similar. The only thing is the approach is going to be a bit different there, because yours is more you have a product that you can sell, that you can generate income. But in my context, in the empowerment of people, I could not see the product in terms of sellings of generation. But it will improve in terms from the empowerment perspective, giving job and so on. But my challenge at the moment possibly is my limitation lah, because I am too much on the on the procedure, but lacking on research and something. That's what I'm going to learn from you after this. But I think there is a potential, lots of potential that we can bring forward. Yeah. Thank you very much, Zul. I think that should share your answer your question just now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zul, for sharing this. But as I said, now I'm lucky, and people said it's much a bit easier because I have a product, so that if we able to sell the product, then we can see community get the money. So the measurement is easy then. But how about something like upscaling and then just improve their quality of life? It's a bit difficult to measure the exact output in terms of scales or whatever chart. But I do believe in BGIM, they have a lot of experience, because not all the community engagement project about producing product. There is also service to improve water quality. So they have a technology, they go to one village, benefit to 1,000 people in the village to get the good quality of water. So how they going to measure this? So I think it's not necessarily confined to a product only. It could be on the service of improving quality of life, but we should identify how we analyze or measure the outputs. I think BGIM has this experience on this, because multiple projects at BGIM actually.
True, Zul. That's what I've learned from your presentation today. That's what I'm going to do next. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. And then what is the plan to translate a system you develop using KDP to the community? All right. So now it's not planned to translate because it's already translated. So I apply KDP, I buy one machine, and I give to this community community A. So this community, during training to this community A, I optimize the system. So then I use whatever data from that project, I apply for another grant next year with another community. So using that money, I produce another machine, go to another target group. So the community keep receiving a benefit. Surely the community number 2, we have better machine than community number 1, but we keep upgrading that, right? So no such thing that how we want to translate, because the step in CE itself, actually we are doing research in the community, at the community level. All right. So hopefully this answers your question. What's the next question? Okay. Please advise how to explain why we are using plastic bottles. Sometimes consumers say we cannot use the plastic bottle. Okay. I think this question comes when we put honey in the bottle. But the sellers or the honey producer put it in plastic bottle instead of glass bottle. The problem is because we want to courier it. Sometimes in 10 bottles, 6 bottles akan pecah. The thing is, even though we use a plastic bottle, in my case, for example, we did send the honey that we put in the plastic bottle to the for chemical analysis to see is there any defect or change to the honey properties. In fact, if you look at the like Manuka honey worldwide, they use a normal PET bottle because it's easier way instead of a glass bottle. Right? So we did analyze that the bottle that we use is safe. But if the beekeepers using the recycled Coke bottle, mineral bottle, I didn't recommend anything on that, right? How do you ensure that the go to work harmoniously within the community member? Okay. This is challenging question. How actually the community honey center will harmoniously works? Of course, in this situation, we need a parent company. We have to work the way franchise work. So all of this follow SOPs. So at this center, we equip with the apps that whatever people want to do the service for dehydration, they must enter the data, everything to the apps, and then just like a franchise activity, monitored by the center. So everybody will follow this, and then of course the design, the business model, how people who manage that center will get benefit must be very, very clear. So these are the things more on the business management, I think, instead of a community engagement process. But of course, it's not that straightforward. Yeah. So there is a group of community with different kind of thinking, different kind of background, different kind of culture. They have different kind of interpretation to whatever we say. So it's not really straightforward. But as academia, we just set our SOP, we just set our protocol. So and then we have to put an audit or protocol that how we assess to them, and then we have to clearly show them what is the consequence if they fail to this. And then as the effect, maybe we didn't buy honey from them, we didn't take the honey from that coachee. All right. So is there any plan how to preserve or sustain existing project to the community so that the community can manage it? All right. Surely we what engagement project that we are doing, we need to have clear exit plan in the proposal from very beginning. We cannot simply make a project and out of sudden kita tinggal je the project sekat jalan. So this is very difficult part. It's not. I also have some failed project. I'm not saying that the whole of my projects are successful, but now we start to understand with a proper engagement, involvement of a quadruple helix, means involvement of university, government agency, industrial partner, and then the community. When we introduce all this technology to them, or the whatever program, before we exit, we should able to see the agreement from the beekeepers or the target community with the industrial partner. So with that, this industrial partner will continually buy whatever product from this. So the community happy, and then they have a continuous demand. And then the industry also have a continuous supply. So only that we exit. But later, the agency, MARDI or SIRI or whatever agency, that particular area of the project location will monitor further. Can you share the biggest challenge and the smallest challenge? Okay. I go to the smallest one is ourselves. I mean, believe in that we able to do this. Every day we wake up with a lot of commitment. Check packing, check thesis, student punya presentation, KPI, Myra, or whatever in our table. So but we still have something that we want to do. So if we got a specific passion and goal and clear, kita senang-senang teralih fokus. The smallest challenge that actually how to maintain focus and momentum. So this answered by a clear goal. The biggest challenge adalah we know we're dealing with community, different background. So the penerimaan, acceptance to whatever we say is totally different. But we go as a scholar means kita ada rendah diri, kita tak cakap hebat, kita tak condemn orang tu, tak condemn orang ni. We bring a good character. InsyaAllah, they easily follow us. But if we go that, yang tu tak kena, yang ni tak kena, yang ni salah, our character itself will really affect our community yang sedang kita bantu, dan mereka tak akan bekerjasama. So they will not comply to whatever SOP that we want to introduce. They the compliance rate to whatever methodology you introduce pun tak akan jalan. So project tu tak boleh berjaya. So that's the biggest challenge. So that's the most important character, things that we learn throughout this journey. And Beijing come out with a very good method where they introduce project manager. When anyone want to apply grant, we put a specific allocation for project manager so that this manager keep communicate with the community. For example, you want to do a feedlot or whatever, lembu, bela lembu or bela kelulun or bela lebah, it takes some time, 4 months, 6 months to start harvest a product or and get benefit. So how to remain behave within this 6 months? Sometimes dia akan lambatnya, and then they start to hilang fokus dan tak berminat nak join the project. So this kind of challenge to sustain the engagement with the society is the biggest challenge, but is solved by Beijing by introducing character, post of project manager. No, the project manager is not from Beijing, from the project itself. So when we apply, we should able to see some mini allocation to pay for project manager. It could be our PhD student, it could be what we call, but those who specifically engage with this target group. How do you manage the expectation of the community? Was that always your concern from the start, and it was only when you receive the grant? This is very difficult one, because of course when you go close, people know you want to help them, so they come close to us. So we have discussed, we can have a coffee together, we discuss about our ambition to help them, and they're happy to receive our help. But along the way, the bureaucracy, sometimes you want to purchase this, takes some time. You have to open tender, you take 4 months, 6 months, and then communities start talking. It's not easy, but as I say, when you go with passion, with ikhlas, people can see that you are working on it. I have, I promise with my group, for example, Persatuan Usahawan Lebah Daunah, persatuan that I formed in Kelantan. So we aim that all the to the center, and one importer comes and bring it to overseas. So we don't need to think about marketing everything. But along the way, along the process, after 3 years, it's still not happening. But because we are still there, we are still running, they can see that we are still pushing ourselves to make the idea works. So it's not, of course, akan ada tekanan, but good communication will help them to understand. How many were your team when you started? When did you get more team members? Oh, I started with 2 or 3 members only, and then including my siblings, and my siblings helped me a lot. And then later on, when I joined, start on the research, it's not many people yet, because people didn't get the soul of the project. But I still doing that because of belief, and out of sudden KTP under a BGM, people come to me, right? So this BGM people actually help to me to bring me go further. So from that I start to get bigger grant, then I can get more people to my team. But sometimes lucky also play a role here, where even not my PhD student, not my master student, but they are student in my department, they want to have activity with the community, they just join me. So they keep following me, but they're still doing their PhD in different title, different topic, but they have some activity together to deal with the community. So I get, a so-called support from them at that particular moment. But nowadays, with a bigger grant, I'm able to pay better for my group. So we are expanding to more than 22% in my group now. do you have any competitor and how did they influence your project? As I said, anyone want to be a leader. People want to claim, oh, saya sifu Kelulut, saya sifu bidang ni, saya leader bidang ni, saya head bidang ni. Everybody want to claim. As I said from very beginning, when we have one top goal or the vision is about to uphold the industry. Have, for example, different university, they say they are expert in species of the bee. Someone claim they are sifu in what we call a disease of the bee. Someone claim expert in distribution of the species. Someone claim expert of honey properties. Someone claim expert of utilizing honey for the treatment. So everybody is a different area. But because we share common goal, which is to uphold the industry, I don't see that we fight to each other. Most important is we uphold the beekeepers, the target community. Because whatever project I can tell you in university or in agency, if the to get benefit remain there, the industry will sustain. We at agency or university level, the moment we change a leader, we change the director, whatever, it possibly change the way we look at a particular project. For example, the Department of Neuroscience support me on Kelulut project. But when change the head of department, they don't like this project. They say, oh, you focus on different project. So now I cannot move anymore. But if from very beginning, I support to empower the beekeepers, the usahawan and everything. So even we are at the agency or university, change our group or our vision or our plan, the beekeeper remain there, the community project will remain there. So that is why when I started to uphold this, I put one tagline, asli, bersih, berkualiti. If you have a good quality honey, sell that honey. If you ever to sell the honey, the beekeepers will get money. As long as they get money, they will continuously take care of their bees. So regardless what happened to us in university, what happened to us in a government agency, they will remain because they generate income from that. So the things that we want is to empower the beekeepers. So whatever competitors come to us, as long as we engage to the main stakeholders that receive benefit from our technology, inshallah, people remain with us and seldomly gaduh lah.
Assalamualaikum Dr. Zul.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya Rosli. Dr. Zul, saya nak tanya soalan sikit lah.
Okay.
Berkenaan dengan sekarang ni kalau kita sebut berkenaan dengan BGIM, antara soalan yang popular adalah macam mana kita nak mewujudkan strategi untuk kita ada satu canvas model perniagaan yang baik.
Okay.
So saya sebenarnya kurang faham benda ni. Soalan ni mungkin teknikal sikit. Boleh tak kalau Dr. Zul share bagaimana kita nak tackle perkara ni supaya kita ada satu canvas perniagaan yang jelas dan dia boleh sustain untuk kita move forward. Itu soalan saya. Terima kasih Dr. Zul.
Alright. Okay, terima kasih Dr. Rosli. Okay. At BGIM level, I can say they have one specific manual where USM known by KPT, especially ACAP, Academic Pimpinan Pengajian Tinggi, to have this kind of course. So I think later on can put in the chat box anyone who interested with this book. So the BGIM actually have one specific book, a template, how we want to start from very beginning. And from the preparing a proposal, what we need to be in the proposal, how to identify according to demand-driven or innovation-driven, is really depend on sometimes we don't have innovation, but we have a demand from outside asking us to do this. So it's a demand-driven. Or we have innovation that we need to create this. So this will be innovation-driven. So this model we have in BGIM, right? But as I said from very beginning, first of all, we want to see our goal. Second, maybe Hamzah check the book name and then tulis nama kat situ. Dan nanti boleh bantu dapatkan yang berminat. Jadi there is a step by step module how to do it. Alright. But most important, as I said, identify our goal and then identify what is the innovation that we want to introduce, and then identify our target community. Inshallah, BGIM can help us on this.
Terima kasih Dr. Zul.
The question is, how does your project contribute towards national policy? Can you share your experience? Of course, in this situation, the honey industry, been abandoned for quite some time. And then not many people actually know how to upgrade this industry. But along the way, when we introduce our technology to improve the quality of the honey, so we produce more beekeepers. The beekeepers create demand for halal certification and other certification. From there, Jabatan Pertanian and other university look at the requirement by these beekeepers, by this community. They start to work on a better certification. For example, SIRI working with Maldi, with UNT to produce Malaysian standard for stingless bee honey, and then Malaysian standard for beekeeping. Later comes from the Jabatan Pertanian is the MIGAP, Malaysian Good Agriculture Practice -AM, Apis and Meliponini, Lebah and Kelulut. So this kind of national policy being introduced when there is a demand. So at our level, we are responsible to develop more beekeepers, and then later on, government will see the demand and start to support with this. And from that, we scientists lead in Kelulut and in this working together, led by UMT. We produce buku Hala 7 industri lebah negara. So this kind of thing now ongoing. Sorry.
Okay, buku ni saya dah kongsi kat ni. Buku dia ni buku dia yang Dr. Zul cakap tu. Pembelian boleh order di sini ataupun boleh terus hubungi BGIM lah untuk pembelian. Okey, ada sebang soalan lain ke untuk semua? Mungkin ada yang nak tanya secara lisan. Ada
saya nak tanya satu soalan.
Okey. Silakan.
Doktor Radiga sini.
Oh, hi Radiga.
Doktor,
Better.
boleh dengar ke?
Boleh dengar, boleh dengar.
Okey, doktor sebagai doktor sebagai beekeeper, setiap kali kami nak maintain dia punya honey quality, that means the water contents level tu, kami tak dapat hantar pergi lab untuk kurangkan water contents ke, ataupun setengah orang dia tak ada mesin nak kira pengiringan madu tu kan. Okey, tapi setiap kali pigmentation dia punya overflow honey tu terlalu banyak. Macam mana as a beekeeper yang belum ada teknologi untuk pengeringan tu, bagaimana kami boleh cover masalah tu? Untuk selesaikan masalah tu.
Okay, so sekarang satu, we need beekeepers to understand that we need to dehydrate honey. So looks like Puan Radiga sekarang dah faham yang kita perlu untuk keringkan madu. So this is very good step sekarang. Dan kalau Puan Radiga in maybe I think Baling area, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, Puan Radiga in the Baling, Kedah. So insyaAllah we will have a center in zone utara. Now we have in Mindan, Penang, and then we also are planning for another project in close to Kedah. I think via that center, Puan Radiga just boleh bawa pergi ke situ untuk kering. But for the time being, I also working to produce a small machine which could tackle 2 or 3 kilogram per day, yang mana cukup untuk kita kata daily use for daily sale for local beekeepers. So pray for me. Hopefully, I could come up with the system sooner. Right. Okay. Okay, for the time, for the moment, Puan Radiga boleh communicate dengan Encik Hamzah where our center in Penang can help to reduce the service, provide the service. Yeah.
Doktor, tapi
Yes.
distance dia terlalu jauh dari Baling nak pergi Pulau Pinang tu, nak angkut
Yeah.
nak pergi itu macam terlalu jauh untuk kita bawa pergi. Okey, macam tu boleh cover untuk satu beekeeper saja. Macam mana dengan kawasan perkampungan Baling ni memang kawasan pendalaman. Okey, bagaimana ada apa-apa chances untuk kawasan Baling ni dapat dekat pejabat pertanian ke, macam nearest every beekeeper boleh boleh dapat servis tu?
Okay,
On
we have two opportunity now. One, under my project, one of the Hilda system will be a mobile Hilda. Means I know exactly the problem the small beekeepers, in the rural area, dia tak boleh nak keluar. So I will send mobile Hilda. But now in development process, but the budget's already there. And but the second, if the Baling area we have more than maybe 10 or 20 beekeepers, I think I could discuss with Beijing if we could have a one mini project there to produce a one mini lab. So we see how many beekeepers are viable there, so that we could support bigger group. What do you think? Right.
Memang okey doktor, memang saya sudah 6 tahun dalam field kedulu industri. Setahu saya memang ada terlalu banyak beekeeper dekat sini. Mereka buat kecilan dengan besar, memang ada banyak.
Alright, okay, so inshallah I will take discuss further with the Beijing group if a part of our project can channel to the Baling area.
Okey, terima kasih.
So sambil tu, I would like to highlight that as for me now, I didn't look community engagement project as additional work. So it's a part of my current responsible to gain KPI and KIP. So I must simultaneously to achieve both. Instead of thinking to do research, do paper, everything, and then to fulfill the KPI, and then later need to apply a KPI for community engagement project. No, we actually take this community engagement project as a research project, and those directly benefit and immediately benefit to local people.
Saya berminat tanya soalan doktor. Kebiasaannya projek komuniti ni bila kita nak approach, kebanyakan komuniti dia lebih lihat projek ni lebih kepada kalau dapat duit serta-merta mereka sangat berminat. Tapi kalau tentang meningkatkan ilmu, nak beri manfaat dalam jangka yang panjang, kebanyakannya pada mulanya mereka akan berminat. Tapi pada pengakhiran atau pertengahan kadang projek yang kita expect berimpak tinggi dan berjaya tak mencapai apa yang kita rancang. Apa komen doktor tentang ni? Macam mana nak kekalkan momentum kita punya community?
Okay, very good question, Hamzah, because of course when we do whatever project, a particular project, we are within time frame, right? 6 months ke, 1 year ke, 2 years, a community project. But before we end the project, orang dah hilang interest dah. So this is very difficult. So as for me, I think it's most important for us to outline what do we expect from each step yang kita ambil. How we immediately measure. Let's say we teach one skill. We need to we need to immediately get ready with pre-question and post innovation question. So as for us to deliver the project within 3 months means we already have report that we can send. So we have the data and knowledge. But in a real life, is it that project impactful? That one will need resilient in order to move forward. So this will come with a very good communication and then very good briefing from very beginning. All right. So sometimes we have very straightforward project. Bawa sarang kelelun, pergi satu tempat dia penuh dengan sumber-sumber makanan untuk kelelun dan duduk 2-3 bulan kita harvest madu. Out of sudden, we don't really understand the nature of that place. They actually highest kelembapan dalam Malaysia and their temperature a bit lower compared to other places. So, kelelun tak cepat menetas. Sarang mudah nak mati. Kat situ, after 6 months, 8 months, they cannot harvest honey. So, moral down. But because we have a good engagement, keep talking to them and helping them to develop product, even though their project not yet running, but they already have a prototype of product, they have website, everything, inshallah, they could understand us. But it takes some time for us to deliver this. That is why we need a role of a project manager. If we are as a researcher, I don't think we have enough time to tackle this lah. So nak ada banyak-banyak project for at the same time, memang tak sempat. So we need a good support. So that's why we need to find a good project manager.
Assalamualaikum. Boleh tanya satu soalan?
Oh, dipersilakan.
Okay, congrats lah Dr. Zul for all the success and your hard work kan in this area. I nak tanya, your product kan, the honey that you showed just now, adakah ada macam request from USM that part of the sale tu should be percentage-nya menjadi income generation for either PPSP atau USM? Ada tak dia punya commitment tentang perkara tu?
Okay, thank you, Prof. So basically, from very beginning, I just start to introduce the technology. But after I grow and then generate a lot of sale via U-Sign, so university gave me the opportunity to have my own spin-off company. But under that spin-off, university have involvement. So the income of that company will have to contribute, give back to university also.
So in general kan, dia punya pembahagian percentage macam mana? Kalau boleh share lah kan, kalau boleh share.
Yes, I think if we go to the straight syarat untuk apply for that spin-off company, university CIC unit under USM already online. The share is 20% for university.
Okay, thank you.
But of course, we need to go through several panels and then university we see how, and then university we put some seed money up to 50,000 for us to start off the company. So while waiting, I would like to share that I think among medical school or whatever school, of a lecturer actually have their own skill. Or kalau paling tidak pun thesis PhD have something that they want to highlight. So how we want to convert all these journals or the thesis into a simpler books that give something to people. So take it as a module or a booklet or a tools that we want to use with a particular group, right? So, I saw an example before, like if someone working on the apps, for example, from computer science school, so they can actually get people from nursing school or from the rehab unit to come up with a module for home care or rehabilitation, where this kind of module, they can become like Food Panda or Grab Food, where those who graduated from nursing school but lack of opportunity nak kerja, so they can actually join that this platform on apps and then go to house those who need or require for home care, right, or to do a massage thing or to change a lamping or whatever. So I think bedridden patient at home, so this kind of thing, we need more apps and then more module actually. So look at the big picture of this.
Doktor, saya ada lagi satu soalan.
Yes, Puan Adina.
Doktor, sebagai beekeeper, okay, masa saya produce certain product, okay, dia macam customers tu memang misalnya saya mengeluarkan minyak propolis, memang dia punya permintaan dia dan dia punya testimoni tu memang bagus setakat sekarang. Tapi saya nak bagi nak buat research untuk tentang produk tu lagi mendalam ataupun nak dapat lagi pengetahuan tentang certain produk yang kami implement yang sendiri buat tu kan. Apa yang kami perlu buat untuk upgradekan produk itu?
Alright. Untuk ada lagi Puan Rita? Soalan tu
Soalan tu doktor.
Alright. Okay. Untuk kes sebegini, I think kerajaan telah menyediakan satu platform melalui Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi yang mana dikenali sebagai PPRN, Public Private Research Network Grant. Means Puan Radiga now as usahawan ataupun industri with problem. So your particular problem, you want to upgrade or you want to see properties of your product. So you can report to this PPRN application can fill up the PPRN grant application. So the KPT will advertise to university. So those researchers in all university in Malaysia will look at your problem and then everybody compete who can provide a solution for you. So when and then 3 or 4 solution in KPT, we make an interview and selection who is the best solution. So they will receive a grant of 50,000 to solve your industry or your product problem or development process, enhance your output or your quality. So first, we can search for PPRN grant at the KPT website. So Public Private Research Network.
Ada soalan Dr. Zul pasal Dr. Zul pernah ke Sarawak berjumpa dengan Menteri Pertanian Sarawak berkenaan dengan keluluan ini. Ada update tak perkembangan dari perjumpaan itu? Kita tak pasti tajuk perbincangan.
Alright, so berkenaan dengan perbincangan dengan Menteri Pertanian Sarawak, memang diusulkan untuk kita meningkatkan kita kata peternakan di keluluan di Sarawak pada masa itu. Tapi mungkin bajet yang terhad kita stop, tetapi later on bila industri yang sedia ada di Sarawak itu menurun sebab kurang demand. Jadi pihak teraju telah berhubung dengan pihak Beijing bagaimana nak membantu balik. Jadi sekarang ni saya pergi ke Sarawak untuk membuat projek bagi meningkatkan kualiti madu di Sarawak dan juga membuat matchmaker as a matchmaker antara industri dengan peternak di sana, yang mana ia turut melibatkan Jabatan Pertanian di Sarawak lah. So output from that meeting is not specific, but the program still continue.
Hello, Dr. Zul.
Yes.
I have a question. Dr. Zul, can you see me?
Yes.
No, I just as we can see right now, graduate students, it's very hard to get a job, right? So I think it's a very great opportunity to if a graduate student or young generation to join this industry. So my question is, what is your strategy to attract young generation or graduate to venture this industry?
All right.
Thank you.
I think that one Hidayah, right? Okay. So thank you, Hidayah. Nowadays, we can see a lot of interest among the young generation to be a beekeeper. So especially that's why when I appear online or whatever, I try to be smart to show that become a beekeeper also boleh jadi, you know, handsome, pakai topi, pakai proper. It's not like petani. So people enjoying of doing and look at this, and then they think they also can be part of it. But it's not only your concern now, my concern, and also government concern, how we actually pull the new generation with this. So now, kalau sebelum ini Jabatan Tenaga Kerja dan beberapa pihak berusaha mewujudkan pensijilan-pensijilan tertentu. Dengan pensijilan tu dia boleh dapat bantuan. Jadi agensi seperti RISDA, agensi seperti Felda now memperkenalkan package-package yang generasi muda ni boleh apply dengan agensi masing-masing yang terdekat dengan mereka untuk mereka mempunyai seed farm, ya, mungkin dalam 10 sarang dan dia boleh memulakan projek. So the moment they start grow by themselves. So I think the initiative is ongoing. Alright.
Okay, nampaknya macam tak ada soalan dah. Okay, terima kasih semua. Mungkin kita buat sesi bergambar dulu sebelum kita tamatkan kita punya siri. Mungkin peserta semua boleh buka webcam kalau tak keberatan.
Hi Alexander. Yang hadir, so sambil-sambil tunggu buka kamera tu, saya minta maaf kalau ada apa-apa kekurangan daripada penyampaian. Dia adalah satu pengalaman yang kita lalui dan saya melihat memang BIJIM banyak membantu dalam aspek ini. Jadi apa-apa projek boleh consult dengan BIJIM untuk dia design. Sebab tak semua orang bernasib baik dapat projek yang ada produk yang boleh jual. Ramai yang ada projek sekadar perkhidmatan, servis. So how we want to measure the output apa semua tu, insya-Allah kita ada mekanisme yang boleh membantu. Jadi terima kasih semua dan saya sekali lagi mohon maaf atas apa-apa kekurangan. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Okay, Hamzah boleh ambil gambar dah?
Boleh. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Sekejap 1, 2, 3. Terima kasih semua sebab sudi hadir untuk perkongsian kita pada hari ini. Untuk perkongsian kita seterusnya akan dilakukan pada minggu depan. Segala poster dan juga maklumat akan dihebahkanlah melalui platform yang sama. Saya minta maaf atas kekurangan ataupun masalah sepanjang program ini berlangsung. Sekiranya ada masalah untuk apply MSPD boleh hubungi saya melalui email ataupun nombor telefon. Okey, itu sahaja untuk hari ini. Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih Dr. Zul.
Terima kasih Dr. Zul, terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih Dr. Zul, terima kasih Encik Hamzah, terima kasih BIJIM dan semua.
Terima kasih Dr. Zul, terima kasih Encik Hamzah.
yang dah semua sebenarnya apa-apa pun jemput next meeting lah.
Okey, baik, boleh.
Alright. Okay.
Okey, terima kasih Doktor.
Okay. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum semua. Terima kasih Tuan Syed. Cik Azim ada. Okey Cik Azim.